Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about all of the books I read in October. I have my computer here to look at the ratings and my thoughts about it. If I forgot, because I'm telling you right now I did. We're going to start off with the two books that I read mostly in September but a little bit in October as well. So those two books are Edgewood and Flush. These two are kind of random, honestly. I just kind of picked them up off my shelf for no reason. But first we're gonna start with Edgewood. I really like this one. This is a part of the Edgewood series by Karen McQuestion. I liked it. I gave it a 3 stars, just solid 3 stars. I thought it was pretty good. I liked the character development. I liked the way the story went. I feel like the beginning was very boring, and honestly, I mean, that makes sense because they have a lot of information to give us before the story can pick up. So I might read the next book in the trilogy because it is a trilogy. I don't know, but basically this one is about our main character's Russ. One day he takes a night stroll around his neighborhood, and there's this field, and there's a kind of a comet kind of bursts into the ground, and some stuff just starts happening after that, and it's very interesting. We have some found family, and honestly that was really all I got from this book. I would like to continue the series. Then we have Flesh by Carl Higginson. I gave this one a 2.75 stars. I liked it. It was a good message and a good story, but I think it was just it's very short, and I thought that was going to be the case when I went into it, that I wasn't going to like it as much because there wasn't very many connections to me and the characters. I didn't connect to them very well. So that's why I gave this one a kind of low rating, but I did really like the message of this one. This one is basically our main character, Noah. He has some family problems, and basically it's about kind of pollution in the water of this kind of harbor that is by their house, and it's just about that, how he helps the situation. So yeah, I liked it, but it wasn't something I'll remember very well in the future, but I do recommend it if you want a good message in a book. Then I read Insurgent by Victoria Roth. I gave this book a 3.5 stars. I really liked it. This is the sequel to Divergent, if you didn't know. I read Divergent last month. I do think I like Divergent more than Insurgent just because of the storyline. They were kind of learning stuff. They were still in the school. This one, they just aren't as much, and I just didn't like how the story kind of took off. It is basically just about this dystopian world where there is 5 different fractions, and each fraction is a different thing. So the selfless, the brave, so on. And it's kind of just this world, and we see in this story how it just starts crumbling and stuff happens. And yeah, 3.5. Then I read Graceling by Kristen Cashore. This is the first book in the Graceling series. I don't know what the other books are called, but I do know that I really like this one. This one was more of a folktale fantasy, but I thought it was really good. I gave it a 3.25 stars. First half of this book better than the second half, just because the second half there was a lot more of traveling through mountains and woods and stuff, and that is just a little boring to me. Basically it's about our main character, Casta. Ever since she was 8, she could kill a man with her own hands. That is basically her Graceling, because in this world different people can have Gracelings or not, which are just special powers, and I really liked it. I thought her power was very unique, and I really like just her character. She was very strong, and I really liked it. So definitely recommend. I don't know when I'm going to continue the series, but I did like it. Then I read Enrique's Journey by Sonia Narazaro. I like this one. I did have to read it for school. I did have to annotate it as well, but I don't know, it was okay. It was a very deep message, and I thought the plot and the characters were very good. So basically it is about Enrique. His mother left him to go to the United States when he was, I think, 5. And ever since then, he just missed her. He didn't understand why she left. Really, she just left to make sure that her children had a better life. So she said, okay, I'll go to the United States for like a few years and come back. It was a lot longer than a few years, and that's basically just where our story starts off. And we just switched a ton of POVs to like random people from a town, to just him, back to his mother, back to his back home. It just, there was a lot going on, and I think that's why I'm only rated a 2.5, just because, again, I did like it, just I won't think about it very much after I'm done writing my essay for school. So yeah. Then I read The Ballad of Never After by Stephanie Garber. This is the second book in the Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy. I love this one. This one is so much better than the first one, in my opinion. I think the world is just amazing. If you don't know what the series is about, it's basically about our main character, Evangeline Fox. She made a deal with the Jacks of Hearts to stop her lover's wedding, because she's like, wait a minute, I thought we were a thing, but now he's gonna marry somebody else. So she's like, can you stop them? And then he turns him into stone. So that's just kind of the beginning few chapters of this book, of the first book. I'm not gonna say anything about this one just because that'd be spoiler, but I really did love this one. I definitely like this one better than the first one. At the time, I gave Once Upon a Broken Heart a 5 stars, but I think I would lower it to a 4.25, just because I really like that one. But I do think this one was better, and I think I'm gonna rate this one a 5 stars just because the ending and the characters were so good in this book, and I just loved everything about it except the ending. I'm a little mad, but I'm also excited to start the next one, which I actually did and we'll talk about later. But I just really love this one, and I definitely recommend the series. So those were all the physical books I read this month, but I did read some audiobooks and Kindle books, so I'm going to talk about those now. So first, I read Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn. I gave this one a 3.5 stars. I really liked it. I thought the storyline was very, very interesting, and it was a longer book, I do have to say that much. And if you get lost very easily, or if you don't like a slow burn mystery thriller, I don't think you would like this one. It's such a slow burn and it takes forever to get to the point, but I do think I really liked it at the end. The ending was probably my favorite part. I don't remember a whole lot of this book, but I know it is about a couple that the wife goes missing and the husband is always forbidden. Like, the husband is always blameable because he's like, I didn't know anything about this. I just went off for a coffee. I don't believe you. Honestly, it was basically back and forth the whole story of like if we believe him or not. I didn't, but the ending took me for a whirlpool, and it was insane. So I definitely recommend that one, but it is a longer, slower one. Next, I read The Coworker by Freida McFadden. I gave this one a 4.25 stars. I really like this one, and I have no idea why. I think the storyline was very interesting to me, and the fact that it was just like about this coworker that was just so odd and so different. And then, oh my god, this is definitely one of my favorite Freida McFadden books I've read, because I read a lot by her, but this one is definitely very high on my list just because of the plot twist in the end was insane and I never saw it coming. I know people say that this one wasn't their favorite by her, but I really liked it. I don't know why. Basically, it's about this girl, Dawn. She works at this office and she's very precise. She arrives at work every day at like 8:30 something. She's always on time. That's really all I'm going to tell you about it, because I think this one is a really good one to like go into blind about it, because it's just, oh my goodness. I read this book in literally 2 days. I thought it was so good, and the plot twist at the end was not guessable at all. So I highly recommend this one. Next is The Guest List by Lucy Foley. I rated this one at 3 stars. I really liked it. I thought the plot twist was pretty good at the end, but I did half guess it. Like, during the story, I just felt like this one character had a past that we weren't really getting told, and I was like, wait a minute. And I started piecing things together. I don't know how I did it, but I don't know. I do think it was a very good thriller though, and I'd highly recommend. So basically it's about this wedding, and a couple hosts this wedding at this private island, and it basically just starts, stuff goes wrong and there's a big storm and we get multiple POVs, and I thought it was really good, but like I guess the plot twist at the end, and that's just what made me kind of sad at the end, but it was really good. Next we have The Family Game by Catherine Stedman. I gave this one a 4.25 stars. I really love the found family in this book, and the strange type of concepts that she pulls out is just so interesting. So basically it's about this family, and they're super rich, they're super just wealthy and highly known. Like they can do anything with the power that they have. So there's this one lady that is going to be marrying into the family, but she's like, wait a minute, I haven't met the family yet. I really need to like see what this place is about before I get myself into this marriage. So she goes to the house, she has some holidays there, and stuff just is super weird and super creepy, and I really love the plot twist at the end. I thought it was so interesting, and I did not guess it at all. So yeah, I highly recommend her books, and just this one in general. Then I also was kind of on a roll with her books, so I read Mr. Nobody by Catherine Stedman as well. I give this one a 3.75 stars. This one is about a man. He shows up on a beach one day, doesn't remember anything, doesn't remember his name, how he got there, anything. And we follow him, and then also the doctor that he's gonna be being taken care of. And her past is insane. The plot twist at the end of this book as well is insane. I never saw it coming. I love her books and her writing so much. I highly recommend her books. And yeah, this one is really, really interesting. I really like how it just took a toll at the end that I never would have thought. And it was really good. I highly recommend that one. We have A Flicker in the Dark by Stacey Willingham. I gave this one just a solid 3 stars. I liked her main character, but she wasn't the most lovable, and she didn't make it easy for us to like her very much. The ending was very good as well. I thought it was just something I never would have thought of ever, and I don't know how she like made that up. The beginning is just very slow, and it took me a long time to read this book, and that's nothing wrong with the book. I felt like it was very slow paced, which isn't something I'm always loving. But if you do like a slow burn thriller, definitely read this one. So I am filming this like 3 days before the month actually ends. So I am reading 2 different books right now that I will probably finish before the month ends. So we'll just talk about them here, but I'll probably put them in my November wrap up. So yeah. First, I'm reading Misery by Stephen King. I really like this one so far. I do think it's kind of hard to get into, or kind of to read a lot at one sitting, just because they're stuck in a cabin. That's literally the only setting in this book. Basically it's about Paul. He is a writer, and he gets in this bad accident, but then his number one fan sees him, and she's like, wait a minute, you're my favorite writer, and I'm a nurse, so I'm gonna like try to fix you up, but I'm actually gonna kidnap you and not let you go until you do something for me. And that's all I'm gonna tell you about this book so far, but I'm really liking it so far. I do think I hope I know what's gonna happen next at the end, and if I'm right, then I'll be so happy, but if I'm not, I don't know how I'm gonna feel. But I do really like that one so far. Now I'm reading A Curse for True Love by Stephanie Garber, which is the 3rd and final book of the Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy. Guys, I don't know how I feel about this book so far. I do like the plot twist that she came up with at the end of the 2nd book, but the fact that I just don't like how the story is going because of what the plot twist was, and that it's just hard. it's hard to read about because I love these characters so much and I want something to happen, but I don't know if it's gonna happen or not. I genuinely don't know. And you'll just have to wait until my November wrap-up to figure out my whole thoughts, because I obviously don't know yet. I'm only like 100 pages in, but oh my goodness, this book is so good. But I do think I liked the second book better than this one just so far, honestly, and the first. So I don't know, but I highly recommend this series. I cannot recommend them enough. So those are all the books I read in October. I hope you guys liked this video and seeing all the books I read this month. Comment down below all the books that you read, and I would love to see your ratings and your thoughts. If you have read any of the books I read this month, please let me know your thoughts. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!